Hey everybody, welcome back for another memory keeping plan with me. This time it's for the week of January 2nd through the 8th. So this was the week before my wedding. And so I decided to actually switch the kit that I was going to use. So I bought this kit called Marry Me from Cinderella Paper for no reason other than I thought the art was pretty. This does not really match my wedding color scheme at all, other than I did have green, but it was a totally different green color. But I decided to use this because I wanted to save the beach wedding kit for when we go back to do our beach photos in March, because we didn't get to do those the week of the wedding because it poured rain for not just the week of our wedding, but like 2 weeks before and like a week and a half after our wedding too. So I just decided to use this wedding kit instead. My wedding was a little more rustic than the art in this kit, but we've talked about this before, there's no like perfect wedding kit for my wedding, especially because I had like orange and stuff, and I don't feel like a lot of people like orange. Although, actually, I feel like orange was really trendy, but not the way that I did it. I don't know. I know it sounds like I'm trying to be like not like the other girls, but like I feel like I went like very classic with a lot of stuff, but then like less classic with some of the colors. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter right now. But yeah, this doesn't really match my wedding, although the dress that the person is wearing up in the corner kind of reminds me of my dress. I had thicker straps than that, but other than that, like this is much more extravagant of a wedding than I had or that I have ever been to. But I did want to use this because I did want to still have like a wedding kit for this week, and there were things like a really extravagant seating chart in the clip art for this kit, not clip art, but in the art for this kit, as well as vow books. So I thought I would use that because we did finish our seating chart this week, and I was working on my personal vows, on my handwritten vows. So having those little wedding touches is cute, even if like the decorations and the style of the wedding doesn't really match my own. I'm actually like, this color scheme would not be something that I would have done for a wedding. I know it's very popular right now, like very neutral, very like the only color is like a green that is the stems of the flowers. I went with like, or we, I should say, because Nathan had opinions on colors too. But we went with a very like bold winter color scheme, like very jewel tone. So I'll talk more about that next week. But yeah, I'm not into the neutral trend in anything really, whether it's home decorations or weddings. Like I like bright pops of color. So that's what I did. That's how my home looks. That's how my wedding looked. It's funny, I'm on Reddit mostly for wedding stuff, and people are always asking like once a week, how do you decide on a color scheme for a wedding? And I'm like, huh? That's the hard part? That was the easy part for me. My wedding color scheme like reflected a lot of my home decoration color scheme, honestly. So that part was easy. The only thing was that once we actually started planning, Nathan was like, I want to wear blue. And I'm like, I wasn't planning on that. But you are the other person getting married, so I think you have a right to have an opinion, because I'm team grooms should have opinions about weddings. That's just me. It's also very helpful when you're a stressed out bride. But yeah, he wanted to wear blue. So at first I was like, I don't know about that. But then like looking back, I'm like, why was I hesitant? Like navy blue totally went with what else I had in mind. So it worked out great. I've just been babbling on about our wedding. Although like this week that you're looking at right now, like obviously I was in full wedding mode. We had our final meeting with our venue 10 days before, so that would be the 4th, and then right after that, so we gave them final guest count. We're lucky in the sense that our venue let us give a final guest count like 10 days before. I know some places want it like a month in advance, which I think is a little ridiculous, or like even further out than that, and I get it, but I also am like, why? So we were really lucky that we only had to give it 10 days out. We still had like a bunch of people cancel in the last 10 days, unfortunately. It was no fault of their own. People got sick or had like really serious medical issues. And unfortunately, it was like several people on our guest list. So yeah, that started to happen this week. I think we got the first news of that on Friday of this week. So 8 days before our wedding, a couple people were like, yeah, this is what's going on. Sorry. I'm like, no, like, I totally understand. Like, I'm not going to get into other people's medical business, obviously. But like, it was a situation where I'm like, I totally get why you can't come. Like, I totally understand. Totally, totally, totally. So in the sidebar that I already put down, I did my usual 2 habit trackers of skincare and flossing, and then I did a dinners weekly checklist, and then I put in a glitter half box. In that half box, I'm going to end up writing California Dreamin' on Such a Winter's Day in that Beach Boys song, and I'll put Molly like a weather sticker and a rain, rain, go away script from Wonton in a Million, because this was the week that California got hit with what is supposedly called a bomb cyclone. We got hit with a bomb cyclone. I think I talked about this the week before this too. It was raining a lot. It didn't rain as much down here as it did up north. Like the flooding was much worse in Northern California, but there was still a lot of flooding down here too. And like sinkholes opening up in the middle of Los Angeles. And it kind of, between that and all of the people who were telling us about their health issues and how they couldn't come to our wedding, it kind of sort of felt like the world might be ending in the weeks leading up to our wedding, mostly like the week before our wedding. So in hindsight, I'm like, wait, why was I so incredibly stressed in the week before our wedding? And then I look at my plans and I'm like, well, there's a bomb cyclone, and I didn't put this part in my planner, but like all of the people who were canceling or who weren't able to attend our wedding after we had given the final guest count. And there's no takesy backsies at that point once you give the final payment, you know? It's like, well, we already paid for those people, but we'll just save a seat in their honor. And then also I was just feeling really overwhelmed because, and in hindsight, again, I'm like, why was this stressing me out so badly? It's not that big of a deal, but that's just kind of how I am. I get really stressed about things that in hindsight are really simple. But this week I was also like trying to finalize our photography and like family timelines. And I come from a big family. And so that was just really overwhelming to me, having to like make sure I was communicating in writing as clearly as possible who needed to be where when, to make everything like work a little better. So yeah, and then also like coming up with our family photo list, and like I sent it to our photographer, and then I realized after I sent it I forgot to include like the all family photo, so both of our immediate families, which by the way was like a 17 people family portrait, no small feat. And so just coming up with timelines, I was like meticulously writing things in Google Docs, both for the wedding and the photo list, and also our rehearsal dinner the night before, like all the details of that. It wasn't that complicated, but for some reason at the time it felt really complicated. And now looking back, I'm just like, that's not that big of a deal. But there was just a lot of things in the last couple of weeks that were stressing me out a lot. And most of it was just communicating with people. It was also a little tricky with our vendors because we did get married, like 3 weeks after Christmas. And so I did sort of feel like our vendors were not communicating with us as early as I would have liked because it was like Christmas and New Year's. So yeah, I kind of anticipated that going into having a wedding in January, but yeah, communication happened eventually, but I do feel like it should have happened sooner before the wedding, and it kind of happened like at the last minute. So that was a little stressful, but it all got done eventually. That's how a lot of things go for me. I'm like, it all got done eventually. So I did put extenders on Tuesday and Wednesday because I just didn't want to cram everything in. So I wanted to space everything out a little bit. But now we can go ahead and get into the day by day. I feel like I just kind of like babbled on stream of consciousness like just there. But luckily I was on like winter break still. Like I am glad we got married during my winter break. That did make things a lot easier, like handling all of the last minute stuff. It made it a lot easier. But anyway, going back to the day by day, on Monday, it was 12 days until our wedding, of course. So I'm continuing with that J'adore planning wedding countdown. And then I was anxious this day. So Nathan was off this day for New Year's Day. And I was just kind of feeling the pressure because I knew we were going to have our final meeting on Wednesday, and there were things that I was anticipating needing to do, like delivering our final payment and ordering our seating chart and all of that, but none of that could get done until we had that meeting. So like, this is kind of how my brain operates. Like, I get anxious because I can't act on certain things until something else happens. It's kind of, I deal with that with my job too. Like, the first month of every semester, I'm stressed out because I'm anticipating how many papers I'm going to have to grade that semester. And but I can't do anything about it because the papers haven't come in yet, you know? So that was kind of similar to what was going on here. So I marked that with Molly Has Anxiety from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. and an anxious script from Carly Plans. We were planning some Hawaii things this day. So I have a little pineapple from Wonton and a Million. I can't remember exactly what we were planning, but we're just doing some honeymoon planning. And then I have a little planner sticker from Fox and Cactus to mark that I was pulling stickers for a plan with me. And then I forgot to put in my label for marking that my husband was off for the holiday this day. And I thought about just not marking it, but since I only had 2 other things to mark at the end of the day, I'm like, whatever, I'll just put it at the end of the day. It doesn't matter that much because at this point with this new planner, with my Sadie Stickers planner, it is a lot harder to pull up stickers, than it was in my last planner. So I was like, I am not pulling all of that up. So anyway, I just have a little heart piece of deco from Scribble Prints Co. I forgot to mention that I'm using gold foil from Scribble Prints Co. with this kit. I did a little poll on Instagram and almost everybody said that was fine. I don't know why I was doubting myself. I know gold looks good with this, but I needed input. But anyway, so I'm using a hearts foil bundle from Scribble Prints Co. in gold because I thought it would look pretty with this kit, and it was kind of thematic with the theme of getting ready for our wedding. Then we tried to practice our first dance this evening, and because I had been really anxious that day, like, we just didn't get very far with it. So I wrote in dance practice fail. I have Molly in a dumpster fire from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. for that. And then at the end of the day, we watched the 10-minute power hour on YouTube. I had to switch off my space heater right there. Tuesday was 11 days until the wedding, and then I marked that my, fiance at the time went to the office this day, so I'm going to put in a gold foiled car icon from Scribble Prints Co. I also decided to use all the half-cut headers with the foil bundle, and this is an old style of foil bundle. She doesn't sell this anymore, which is probably good because, like, this particular one only came with 3 sheets of the half-cut headers, the header overlays, and the full box overlays. So it was really hard to do a full week. You'll notice on Thursday I'm going to have to resort to using the header overlays as half-cut headers, basically. So this is a little tricky. But at this point on Tuesday, I was still golden. I still had plenty of half-cut headers to use as a backdrop. I also did a little bit of journaling this day. So I think that's a journaling icon from Cinderella Paper, and I have a journal script from Plana Hannah that I had just stuck on a freebie. It was nice to journal. I was feeling, like I said, pretty anxious, so I don't even remember what I journaled about. Of course, I could go back and look. I don't journal much anymore, but I used to do it a lot, and I probably should do it more. It might help. Then I voiced over a plan with me, and I filmed my January monthly plan with me. If you didn't see either my December 5th plan with me or my January monthly plan with me, you can go back on my channel and watch those. But to do that, to mark that, I used Molly Podcasting from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then I did a little bit of a workout. I just realized I have not worked out this week that I'm currently living. I need to do that. I was in a lot of pain last week. So I think stretching and working out would help me with that for sure. But anyway, to mark working out, I used an icon from the Scribble Prints Foil Bundle. And then I was working on my vows this day. I think I was like timing them and trying to get them down to a certain time limit because Nathan told me that his were like 1.5 minutes and mine at this point were like 3 minutes. And I'm like, that's too long. So I was cutting that. What I ended up doing is I took all of like the fluff from my first draft of my vows and I wrote that in a card to Nathan that he read the day of. So I mostly I tried to focus and be more concise. I'm always lecturing my students about being concise. But I was trying to like cut all of the stuff that was just like, remember when this happened, or like kind of like saying things about our relationship. And I tried to cut it down to mostly just like the actual vows, you know? Even then, I don't think my vows were that great. I'm gonna be honest. I thought they were good at the time. And then looking back, I'm like, I could have done better, but it's done. I think Nathan knows that I'm here for the long haul. I think he knows. Anyway, to mark working on my vows, I have a little microphone from Planet Hannah. I used that because I figured, well, like when we read our vows at the wedding, like we used a microphone so that everybody could hear us. So I did that. Then I did laundry. So I have a foiled icon from the foil bundle and a laundry script from the kit. I played with the cat, so I have a little cat sticker from Once More with Love and a Play with Evie script from Carly Plans. And then we did successfully practice our first dance this evening. So I have a dancing munchkin from Once More with Love. And then on Netflix, I was watching the holiday episodes of Great British Bake Off because that is my comfort show. And we were still like, in my mind, in the holiday season. So I was watching that as comfort. That Netflix script comes with the kit. Wednesday was 10 days before our wedding. Nathan did have to go to the office this day, so I'm going to pull in another car icon from the foil bundle. So we had our final meeting with our venue virtually. You can do it in person or virtual. We were trying really hard to not get COVID at this point, so we wanted to do virtual anyway, but it also worked out because Nathan had to be up in LA, so we were not going to be able to go down to San Clemente with that schedule. So I'm going to pull in, I think, like a third box. This is a new format of Cinderella Paper's kits. I think this is the current format that she's on. But I pulled in a Papershire wedding couple eventually. And I think it's the one where they're cutting the cake. I thought that would be cute to mark like our final details meeting with our venue. And then after that point, things got a little stressful because we didn't want to pay via credit card or debit card because there was going to be like a 2% transaction fee. And the amount we had to pay our venue was not a small amount. So that transaction fee would be quite a bit of money. So we opted to pay via cashier's check. So that meant I needed to go to the bank. So I have a bank icon that's from Oh Hello Co. And I decided to use the wedding errand script from the Scribble Prints Co. wedding sheet because I had not used this yet. And I thought, I'll remember that this was picking up the cashier's check. So I went to the bank, got the cashier's check. It was kind of stressful because like over the phone, our venue had told us how much we owed, but we didn't have it in writing. And I didn't write it down when I was on the phone with them, which was kind of dumb in hindsight. So it took them like multiple hours to email us back and let us know how much we owed. So I was waiting for a really long time and I just wanted to get it over with. But anyway, got the cashier's check. The teller was so nice to me. At the same time, she was like she like went off on this tangent about like how her cousin was wanting to get married. And she's like, I mean, you don't need to spend the money. Like you just have a backyard thing. And then like, I think she realized what she was saying. And she was like, but like, if you want to spend the money, that's fine too. Like that's what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, she was very nice. I'm not complaining. I just thought it was funny. And she kind of went off on that tangent as she's like drawing up a check for a not insignificant amount of money. Then I drove down to our venue in San Clemente and dropped off that check. So that foiled icon is from the foil bundle. And then I stopped by the hotel next door because I wanted to make sure I could actually see the hospitality suite that's supposedly the bridal suite. So I did that. I have Molly goes to the big city for that. I wasn't in a big city, but I don't have anything else to mark a hotel. And I'm glad I finally insisted on that. This hotel was not responding to my emails at all. Like none. Like they were not great at communication. And then I go in and it's like the general manager and he's super nice to me. I'm like, dude, I've been emailing you for like months and I know I should have called, but I didn't have time for that. And like you responded to my emails when we were setting up a hotel block. But then the second I have a question about, can I see the bridal suite? Then you're like ghosting me. It was weird. Anyway, I'm glad I went and saw it though, because it had no windows. So what that led us to decide was that I would stay in our hotel room that we were getting at the hotel because we had windows, because that's what the photographer requested. And also it's just going to look better. Also, I needed more space because like obviously I got the big dress and everything. And then Nathan would use the hospitality suite because also he was going to have way fewer people. It was also a really small room. Nathan opted to just have his 4 groomspeople with him in that room. Like if he had had his parents too, like I did, I had my parents come by as well. It would have been kind of tight. So I'm glad that we didn't just have that room available. We also had a hotel room of our own. And that way that was good because I don't really know how that room functions well as an actual bridal suite. I can't even imagine if people have like more than 4 bridesmaids. So yeah, But, you know, it was technically free, quote unquote, with our venue, so can't complain too much. They gave us a bunch of Coronas, like the beer. We've been drinking those. I realize I don't like Corona, but it's free beer, so yeah. After I dropped off the check and went to the hotel, I did go to McDonald's and picked up, I don't think I got a Happy Meal, but I got basically the equivalent stuff in a Happy Meal, and it cost way more money, so I'm just going to stick with my Happy Meals. So anyway, I used a fries icon from the foil bundle. And then after Nathan got home this night, we input all of the names, or I input all the names like before he got home because I was designing our seating chart. And then he had figured out how we would actually print it. So we ordered it from a FedEx office store. So I used an icon that's like for invitations from Cinderella Paper and the seating chart script from the Scribble Prince foil bundle. That turned out really well. We picked it up the next day, as you'll see. Kind of expensive for what it is. It's just like a real expensive piece of poster board, but we were working on a tight timeline and I had given up on doing like a DIY, like cute seating chart. So this was the best we could do at this point. And then I wrote in that I was updating my family with like all of the details of our rehearsal dinner that we had finally finalized. And then probably other stuff about like day of timeline. I'm not really sure. So anyway, I used a heart icon from the foil bundle. And then we were just watching random YouTube videos this night, so I used a YouTube icon from Carly Plans. Thursday was 9 days till the wedding, and this was when the bomb cyclone hit Southern California. So I have Molly in hurricane season for that. And this was where I panic bought umbrellas. I went on Amazon, which I don't like buying from Amazon. I avoid it like the plague. But who has a 12-pack of clear umbrellas that can get them to me 9 days before my wedding? Or they actually showed up, you know, the next week. But like, who can I actually rely on to get those to me? Amazon. Were they the best quality umbrellas? Absolutely not. But it was also funny because our photographer, we were on the phone with her next week and she's like, oh, I bought a bunch of umbrellas, clear umbrellas, this 12-pack. I'm like, I feel like we bought the same umbrellas. So anyway, I have Molly under an umbrella for that, for panic buying umbrellas, because I'm like, you know what? At this point, like I can see the forecast for next week. It might not rain on our wedding day, but it also might, because how it works in California, I don't know how it is other places, but how it works here is that most of the time when there's rain in the forecast, you get to that day and you get all excited because you think it's going to rain. If you're me, if you don't like rain, then this is not how you are. But if you're like me and you like rain, you're like, cool, it's going to rain. And then it doesn't rain. But that's not what happened this year. What happened this year is that it totally did rain. So it's a good thing that I bought the umbrellas. Then I have an angry blobby from Oh Hello Co. because our venue florist was pissing me off. So our centerpieces on our sweetheart table were real flowers. We did fake flowers for the bouquets and everything, and I regret nothing. But the florist that the venue contracted with, everything we owed them was paid to the venue with that giant check that I wrote on Wednesday, okay? Then they start calling us up and saying that we owe them a delivery fee. No, we don't. So we had to get our venue involved and they took care of it, but they were like, they kept bugging us about it, this florist. And they really made me mad because it was like the cake people, the people who made our cake weren't calling us up and saying that we owed them money to deliver it. And they were also saying that we would have to like take the vases back to them the next day. And I'm like, no, we don't. Like, that's your job. That's what we're paying money to the venue for, and the venue will pay you. You know, our venue was like an all-inclusive type of thing. So they were really, I was so mad. And this is not the last thing that will go wrong in the week leading up to our wedding. Don't you worry. Stay tuned. Then I finished my syllabi for the spring 2023 semester because obviously I was going to have to teach after I got back from our wedding and honeymoon. worked out, and I was writing some photos to DVD from my old computer because I need to clean off that computer. It's an ongoing thing. So I have Molly and like a Polaroid picture from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then Nathan went and picked up our seating chart in the pouring rain from the FedEx office store this night. So I have a guest list sticker from Papershire. Like I said, it turned out really cute. I designed it in a program called Adobe Spark, which if you're not familiar, is like a much easier version of Photoshop. I know how to use Photoshop, but like I don't have it installed on my computer right now. And Spark is just, or sorry, it's not called Spark anymore. It's called Adobe Express. But they have a lot of good templates on there if you just need to like easily design something. So that's where I designed our seating chart. And then I was watching Say Yes to the Dress and Game Grumps on YouTube. So that TV icon is from Planet Hannah. Friday was 8 days till the wedding. Nathan was off this day because he's off every other Friday. And then I was working on my vows some more. So I have another microphone from Planet Hannah. And this was my dear friend Taylor's birthday, who was one of my bridesmaids. So I have the balloons from the foil bundle. I can catch my breath now. I feel like I ranted for a really long time about the florist, but I was seriously angry that they were trying to tell me that I owed them money when I know for a fact that I did not owe them money. They just, like, people just loved to waste my time in the 10 days leading up to the wedding. The florist did this. We'll get into this next week, but an Airbnb did this. Like, people were just hell-bent on actually wasting my time. And I know I sound, like, really mean right now, but, like, people just kept doing stuff to us that I'm like, why do you hate me? Like, what did I ever do to you? Like, we're both like pretty chill people. We stress out all the time about like trying to do the right thing. And so when people like pull stuff like that on us, and like they've sent us a contract before that clearly did not have that fee on there before, and then they just pull it out of their pocket at the last minute, I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Like, it's very scammy, honestly. But I was wrapping bridesmaids' gifts on Friday evening, and we actually had to take the cat to the vet this afternoon, or Nathan took her to the vet, because she was out of her prescription food. She's on special prescription pH balancing food. And we didn't realize that we had to take her into the vet because nobody reminded us. Thanks for that, I guess. So we had to take her to the vet at the last minute because she was going to run out of food. So we needed to order food. So I have Molly goes to the vet from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And at that appointment, 2 very expensive things came up. The vet is like, I think I might be detecting a very slight heart murmur, so you need to go to a cat cardiologist for that. We're doing that in March. It's going to be very expensive. Obviously, I hope nothing's wrong, but at the same time, I'm like, it's going to be a very expensive test if nothing is wrong with her. Also, she's due for a dental cleaning, which I can definitely tell. That's also going to be super expensive. Yay! Anyway, then we spent the evening doing all the printing and the framing together because there were a lot of little signs and photos and things that I wanted to display at our wedding. So we worked on that together. Nathan, thank goodness, helped me out with that because if I had to do all that on my own, I would have been even more stressed. So I have a Papershire wedding couple for that. We were printing things like I said, like photos of us from over the years that we didn't already have printed, and then putting those in frames that I had gotten the week before. And then I also had like a little map that I made that I thought was cute of like where we've been in our relationship, like where we met, where we moved in together, where we got engaged, and of course where we got married. And then what else did I have? I had like a reception timeline. I don't know if anybody actually looked at it, but just kind of like letting people know, hey, the event's ending at this time, and like this is the time that the cake's going to be cut, supposedly, and all that stuff, just so people had an idea of like, how long are we going to be here tonight, you know? Because I would love to know that. If I was at when I'm at a wedding, I kind of want to know how long is this thing going to go on, you know? Like, I like being there, obviously, not to be rude, but like sometimes you just want to know. How long are we going to be here? Anyway, then we were just watching random YouTube at the end of Friday. Saturday was 7 days till the wedding. My sister gave me a call this morning just to check in and see if there's anything she could do as the maid of honor. And I'm like, actually, no, I don't have anything for you to do. It's mostly things that I need to do, but thank you for asking. That phone call icon's from Cinderella Paper. And then we were checking in with all of our vendors. So hair and makeup, photo, video, our officiant, all of them. So I have an icon from Cinderella Paper for that, for all the email correspondence. And then I made myself relax because I needed to, because I get stressed very easily. So I have a bed icon from Cinderella Paper. I did a face mask because I was definitely breaking out in certain parts of my face at this point, which is more hormonal than anything. It wasn't necessarily the stress of the wedding. It was like, I go through cycles. So anyway, that icon is from the foil bundle. And so is that TV icon. I was watching like all the John Mulaney specials this day. I needed that structure of stand-up comedy in my life. And then we practiced our dance this evening. So I have another dancing munchkin from Once More with Love. Sunday was 6 days before the wedding, and I put a Molly is Depressed sticker from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. because this is where the weather forecast was getting really real. Like, it was just like, okay, it's probably gonna rain on the 14th, and it's probably gonna rain. We kept hoping it was gonna like get pushed off later into the day, because most of my experience in Southern California, I've only lived here for 4 years, but most of my experience here is that it usually rains overnight, like late at night, like 1 o'clock in the morning. It usually doesn't rain in the actual daytime, so that's what we were kind of hoping for. That is not what happened. It rained pretty much specifically right at our event time. So that was cool. Anyway, I was stressing out about that. I just kept checking the weather forecast, hoping against hope. And yeah, I wasted a lot of time checking the weather forecast because it's like, what was I going to do about it? I can't do anything about it other than panic, buy umbrellas, and make an indoor plan. Like I didn't write this in. I think it was this week where our venue called us up and was like, so here's what we're going to do if it rains, which we already knew this because we had talked about this when we booked the place. But they're like, this is the plan if it rains. I'm like, okay. Then I was sending my family that timeline I talked about earlier and the photo list. So I have like a family photo icon from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then I printed, or Nathan helped me do this, print a photo for a bouquet charm of our cat that I wanted to put on my wedding bouquet. So that was great to have her hanging out on my wedding bouquet because anytime I felt kind of overwhelmed that day, I could just look down at my bouquet and there was my cat's pretty face. So I have a flower icon from Carly Plans and a cat icon from Plan a Hannah. I layered those together. Then I cleaned my engagement ring to get like most of the gunk off. I knew I was going to have to clean it again before the wedding, but I just wanted to get a head start on that this day. So I have a ring icon from Plan a Hannah. I did another face mask. That's from the foil bundle. And then I used this cute couple of munchkins from Once More with Love to mark that we got through our entire first dance routine that Nathan mostly choreographed. Go him. We got through all of it, which was a really good feeling. So that was nice. And then I watched Oh Hello on Broadway on Netflix because I was on my John Mulaney kick, and that was like the one John Mulaney thing I hadn't watched. It was very weird, especially like the first 45 minutes of it. But it also was kind of what I needed at this point. It was like very absurdist. And I need stuff like that sometimes when I'm feeling really overwhelmed. So in its own special way, it was entertaining, but it was also very weird. It's also very long. I feel like if you were watching that live on Broadway, you'd be like tired, but I don't know. Now I'm just putting on the full box overlays. I opted to do these at the end instead of at the beginning just because I like to get a feel for like how much foil I really want to use. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like to kind of assess how cluttered the page is before I add more stuff to it. So I did opt to use all 6 of the heart overlay boxes from the foil bundle, and then I had to bring in a couple of extra quotes. So I pulled in a couple of Scribble Prints love quotes. The one on Tuesday says, I fall in love with you every single day. The one on the inside of the extender on Wednesday says, all that you are is all that I'll ever need. And then the one on Saturday says, this is the start of something beautiful. I felt a little weird using these again because I've already used these before in like previous spreads. I think I used all of these when we got engaged, but you know, they're still good sentiments. And then in the sidebar, you'll see the FaceTimes 2 script from Carly Plans. You'll see the Molly sun icon from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. and the Rain, Rain, Go Away script from Wonton and a Million because I was willing the rain to go away. I kept joking like, okay, the night before the wedding, we're going to go out to the beach and we're just going to collectively, like us and our bridal party and our families, just like blow the storm offshore. We're going to just blow it away. We did not do that. That's probably why it rained. You think I'm kidding? I'm serious. No. Okay, so that's what's left of the kit and the foil bundle. And that's how the finished week is going to turn out. Like, I'm really happy with how it turned out, even though I was super stressed out this week and everyone was making me angry. Not everyone, just that florist was making me really angry. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing about this week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.